The fresh reports of destruction, not on the front lines of a battlefield, but in bedrooms, maternity wards, and ambulances in Ukraine, demonstrates that Russia, its understanding of peace is the obliteration of civilians. Last night in Dnipro, a city of families and students, Vladimir Putin's forces launched a huge strike, killing 3 people, injuring at least 9 people. This including a young child, and I think at the moment 9 to 30 people have been injured. 5 of the wounded were children. Homes were turned to ash. A school, a dormitory, an entire apartment block caught fire, lighting up the sky with a kind of horror that no peace envoy can possibly explain away. Firefighters, medics and Red Cross volunteers battled not only the flames but also the chaos. It wasn't merely infrastructure that was targeted, it was community, it was continuity, it was the future. And just hours ago, actually only a couple of hours ago, in Kherson, a drone attack struck an ambulance. 2 drivers were injured, shrapnel tore through their limbs. They weren't soldiers, they were the lifeline. Russia attacked a vehicle marked with the symbols of emergency and aid. This isn't warfare, this is savagery. And the drones, the people who are operating the drones can see exactly what they're attacking. This is choice. This is choice, and it's not about civilians being used as shields. This is about attacking civilians directly, and this is evil. It's a savagery that continues despite the diplomatic choreography underway in Paris. We're told that President Trump's envoys Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff are seeking peace. We're told that Russia expresses political goodwill about a ceasefire. But if that is true, then what are we to make of the 2,800 aerial bombs dropped on Ukraine since April began, of the 1,400 attack drones, of the 60 missiles, of the countless artillery shells, of the many attacks deliberately aimed at cities far from the front line? A peace process conducted in parallel with active and escalating assault is not a negotiation. It is extortion. This isn't the language of diplomacy, this is the language of siege. The target's no longer military. Russia knows this. The drones do not lose their way. They are programmed, or actually, somebody is literally watching their progress. They are programmed to hit hospitals, shelters, ambulances. They are programmed to punish civilians for the resilience of a government that refuses to surrender. Even as Ukraine makes progress on a minerals deal with the United States designed to help repay the blood cost of military aid, even as its ministers arrive in Paris for peace talks, even as its president thanks Western allies for constructive discussions, bombs fall on Ukraine, babies bleed, rescuers dig. We must not allow diplomacy to become the curtain behind which atrocity continues. Russia's actions over the past 48 hours are not those of a nation ready to end this war. They are the actions of a regime seeking to make peace on its own terms, terms that begin with the silence of Ukraine. And let's not, and let's also take note of the alarming economic shadow that these trails provide, that these attacks produce. Russia, according to the documents that have come out this week, has begun using seized US-owned businesses to feed its army. The canned food manufacturer Glav Product, forcibly expropriated from a Los Angeles-based entrepreneur, is now under Kremlin control. Not through a legal settlement, but through a presidential decree. This isn't merely a war on people, it's a war on ownership, on rules, on international order itself. And Trump is finding excuses for this blackguard in the Kremlin, who isn't real anyway. Nearly 102,000 Russian soldiers are now confirmed dead in this invasion. The true figure is undoubtedly higher, and still the missiles come, still the drones descend, still children like the one in Dnipro are laid to rest because the world has not yet found the moral or the political force to say enough. Let's be clear. This is not a pause before peace. This is not a military operation seeking strategic advantage. This is a state-sponsored terrorism cloaked in the false language of negotiation, and aided by the very man who said that he could stop this war in 24 hours. The path to peace must begin with one thing, and that is pressure and sanctions. I was opposed to sanctions from the very beginning. But once sanctions are there, you have to use them. Strong, targeted, unrelenting. Against the banks, against the businesses, against the black market mineral chains, against the cronies and the officials who fund and profit from this machine. And yes, solidarity. Not just from governments, but from the global public, from ordinary people who must not become numb to the images coming out of Dnipro, Sumy, Odessa, from journalists who must not simply report bombings as weather, from leaders who must not mistake diplomacy from appeasement. We're not witnessing the end of the war, we're witnessing the ritual humiliation of international law. In real time, in high definition, with the tragic human cost, not statistics, real people. And today, as officials shake hands in Paris, Ukrainians are burying their children. This isn't peace, this is punishment, and it must stop.